The original report for this was written in Russian, so the following is going to be a rough translation into English. Just thought I'd give you a heads up because some of the sentences don't make much sense, but other than that it's pretty coherent, so I think you should be able to understand the gist of it. Let me start by saying that I probably only remember a few percent of what happened. However, I think that is enough to give you an idea of the potential of this substance. The beginning is probably standard. I was myself a rather peculiar, adventure-seeking 20-something with a few nagging issues, the cause of which was probably an underestimation of what I had at the time. I was alone at the time and only my countrymen and a small part of my family cared for me, so I figured I didn't have much to lose in life, so it was worth the risk. I read a lot about psychedelics. Unfortunately, I didn't have much opportunity to try them at the time except for low doses of LSD, which didn't even bring me into the 3rd level. My interest was aroused by commonly available Datura, and even though I read many bad things about it, and even though I was in my 2nd year of biotechnology, which I was very interested in, my eternal sanity was broken by a few dozen black balls. I don't want to bore you with an even longer introduction, so I'll just say that I never had done something so terribly debilitating and naive before. The day came. It was the beginning of September, very warm and pleasant, and most importantly still a holiday. I went behind the city park, where nobody actually goes, and where those damn bushes grew. With a smooth movement of my hand I twisted the seed chestnut. I divided the contents into 2 parts, half of which, I think I had some sense left, I put in my pocket, and the other half I ate with a big grin on my face. The taste was horrible, very bitter. The whole plant emitted an unpleasant, rather repulsive smell. It took me about 15 minutes to eat. I wanted to bite the seeds as well. As I said, there was no great fear. I was convinced that after such a large amount I would avoid all the horrible effects described by other eating peanuts. For the next 3 hours I did not feel any effects apart from a growing slipper in my snout. Fortunately I was prepared for that, at least I thought so, and I stocked up on 1.5 litres of mineral water. It was still early, only 2 p.m. From that moment things started to happen. I'm going to write very chaotically now, because as the phase progresses I only remember parts of it. I will mark this moment as T plus 1 hour. Everything blurred terribly for me. It looked damn blurry. I was spitting without saliva and talking something to myself, sort of comforting things. I remember constantly drinking water whilst choking on it. I had a terrible drip in my mouth, but not that it was dry, just cinnamon. My tongue was dry to a crisp, and there was nothing I could do about it. The water didn't help. It didn't seem to be wet. The sun also bothered me despite my sunglasses. An old lady was walking next to me and I asked if I knew where a wild rose grew here. I was surprised by both her presence and her question, because when I looked around, it was growing everywhere. She started picking it up and throwing it on the ground. She was terribly abrupt in all her movements, hurrying somewhere. She was telling me that she needed some ingredients for some specifics, and then she said something to the effect that I understood that she wanted to cut off my dick. I was panicking like never before, running ahead, but every now and then I would stumble. I felt very heavy, like I weighed 200 kilos and had legs of melting plastic. I fell, then fell again. I forgot why I was running at all, turned around and was lying on the ground. I was very tired. I think I fell asleep. T plus 2 hours and more. I was sitting on some mulch. There were lots of animals walking around. It looked like my old dream. I was just dreaming. I was shooting some buffaloes with a strange rifle, but they were in a fog and I couldn't hit anything. My friend came to see me. I knew him from primary school, so I was very happy. I talked with him about vacations from years ago, and many other things I do not remember. In general, we talked about old times. I was afraid to be alone and I was very happy that he came. I wanted to take this opportunity to ask him about one girl I was paying attention to at the time, and suddenly, boom, disappeared. It was just gone. I was scared to death. I didn't even remember that I had taken anything. I don't know how to describe it, but I lost my logical thinking. I did all sorts of strange things without any logic. My pockets were full of earth and some leaves, probably because I kept thinking that something was lying on the ground. I thought I had lost my ID. I saw an entry card to some establishment and a bunch of other shit. I ate some grass, some leaves and other greens, because cows eat? T plus 8 to 12 hours. Every now and then there were moments of sobriety. Maybe I wouldn't call it that, but such moments in which I regained some logic. The evening came. I remembered the way home, to which I walked for a good hour anyway, even though the road was 10 to 15 minutes long. My friends came for me and thought I was drunk. One time I got drunk. They were the ones who walked me home. Now their hallucinations were walking me away. They were identical, completely the same, only they kept swapping every now and then. One time I had 3 friends, another time 2, and another time 3, but different. As it later turned out, I walked through the housing estate with my arms raised, as if someone was to tow me, and I talked to myself, turning over every now and then. On the way I went shopping. It turned out that I entered a store and started to rearrange the goods together with imaginary friends. I carried some cartons next to meats, and of course the guard fucked me over. Instead of being surprised at what I did, I told myself that it was my boss who fired me. On the staircase I made a total mess. I threw all possible flowers off the windowsills. I visited many neighbours because I forgot where I live. I wanted to cry when they wouldn't let me in. I got to my door. It wouldn't open, so I kicked it. I found the key. After half an hour of effort I opened the door. I pulled out my gun and took a piss. Just right there on the carpet. Mother came home a short time later, house all fucked up, curtains made into a tent. All the cutlery in the bathtub, everything from the kitchen, including food, I gave to the bathroom, to the bathtub or the sink. The living room is full of earth and some kind of greenery. I probably brought it from outside. The whole house was fucked up. My mother was panicking about what was wrong, and I didn't know what she meant. So I told her I had to make a sandwich of shoe polish because it was healthier than butter. She wanted to call an ambulance, but as I was already quite calm and just sat there watching what was happening on the floor, she let it go, thinking she would sober up in the morning. T plus 20 hours. The second day I slept alternately with idle lying down. I was terribly hot, ate some cheese but there were white bugs in it. They disgusted me and I threw it away. The hallucinations continued. I had no idea what was what. I went somewhere, I don't remember where. I was sitting somewhere and it seemed to me that I was in a Jewish cemetery. It smelt of corpses. Big 30 to 50 centimetre beetles were walking everywhere. It seemed to me that I was rotting here together with the corpses. I had no identity. The end. Zero memory. Second day at night. The police found me. I was a few kilometres from home in the remains of abandoned withered corn, and a jacket and no pants. How the hell? I don't know. Then all I remember is the hospital, a catheter in my dick. It hurt like hell afterwards. IVs, interrogations, family, I'll spare you this. They kept me in hospital for 9 days. After 4 days I regained consciousness. I got a nice referral for psychiatric tests and the need for liver tests for a few years. A ban on eating anything that could harm me in any way, many other bans, but that's the fuck out there. How did it change the future? Some things I don't want to write about, you can guess for yourselves. Other things include fucked up health, worse intellect, although now, after 6 years, I've seemed to be better. Great disappointment for my family, great gigantic shame. The whole housing estate saw me practicing various oddities. The cooperative charged me for the damage I did to the cage, plus a broken window of which I had no idea. Health is still failing, and here the immunity is weak, and here the kidneys hurt. I can only dream about drinking a 4-pack. For over a year I was afraid of everything that was sticking out. I was afraid to sleep in the dark. When I talked to my friends, I was afraid that they would soon disappear and it would all come back. Today, after all these years, I am telling you about it to warn you. I graduated from college, having several conditions, plus one repeat of the year, and started to slowly recover. My mind year by year is more and more like it was before, but I know I could have stayed a complete retard for the rest of my life. Remember, Datura is a damn poison, not a psychedelic of any kind. There is no experience after it like there is after LSD. No enlightenment, no colourful visions, and no gentle return. Datura is something that grinds your brain. Everything goes haywire and you are not in control at all. You don't understand any words or absolutely anything. Logical thinking is completely turned off. Simply put, learn from someone else's mistakes and you will avoid many problems. Think before you take anything. There are a lot of cool and interesting things in the world, and I'm not writing this because I like it so much, but because I found out about it myself. You are all nice young people, and you can do a lot. Ciao.